This is Cerise from CERISEFAIRFAX.com. I have something I wanted to share with you guys. It's a dream that I had, and I truly believe in dreams. I love predicting dreams, dreams that my clients had, dreams that I had, dreams that my closest family and friends have had, because I believe that dreams predict the future. And you know what? In our dreams, it's so awesome how we can go in the past, we can stay in the present, and we can go flow to the future. And I truly believe that dreams are quite awesome. Think about this. How does a child know what a dream is? Most children, they'll have a bad dream, and maybe you've never discussed, like a mother or a father, never discussed what a dream was to their child. But their child will wake up in the morning and be like, I had a bad dream, or something of that nature. I find that very interesting. As well, how do children really know what the word is? Well, it's because I believe that dreams are so powerful. They are so real. They are so important that we are born with that dream mechanism in us to know that we are supposed to pay attention to our dreams. But all too many people, because they don't understand their dreams, they discount their dreams and they're like, dreams are meant to be forgotten. That's a comment that my mother told me, my great-grandmother used to say often. And I understand that, because some dreams are so horrendous that we want to forget them. We just want to put them behind us. I've had a few of those where I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, what does that dream mean? But it's important to also try to analyze the dream or write it down, even those scary ones, because when they do come to light, and they will, when they do, we can somehow start to predict the rest of our lives based upon our dreams. For those of you who do not remember your dreams, I would encourage you to drink some water before you go to bed, so it will have you wake up more in the middle of the night to go use the washroom, and then as you're waking, you will be forced to remember what you were just dreaming about in your sleep. That's a little tip. Or keep a pen and a paper beside your bed and write down things as you're tossing and turning. Of course, you might not get your proper sleep, but do it on a day where you don't have to wake up early the next day. All right, so here's a dream that I've had, and I'm going to predict it throughout the next few weeks, but this is just interesting and I wanted to share it. So the other night I was sleeping, and I had a dream that I was at the Queen's palace, and the Queen came home, and there was a whole bunch of people at her palace, and she came home and she saw that there was a lot of company, and she did not get angry, but she looked at me and she said, listen, can you please go to the other part of my property and close up the gate and the fence and make sure that nobody comes in that area, and make sure it's protected, keep it safe. And I said, yes, definitely, of course. So I got into her chariot, and there was a driver who was my friend, and I got into the chariot, and there was another person beside me, a woman, who I don't remember who that was. And I was, inside the chariot was like a box, and it was like a big sandbox kind of thing, except it had velvet everywhere. It was like velour. And I remember feeling it and kicking my feet up. And funny enough, I had said in the dream, oh, I wish I brought my camera, because I would love my friends on Facebook to see this chariot, that, it's the Queen's chariot. And I remember saying that in my dream. So then we got to the other part of the property where there was a bunch of children packing up. It was like they were packing up from day camp or overnight camp or something. And we were about to make sure that the property was safe as all the children were leaving. And then the Queen appeared on a stump, like on a log. And she was sitting there, and she looked at me, and she had said this to me. She said, could you please teach me the book of Isaiah? And I remember saying to her, oh yes, definitely, the book of Isaiah is a beautiful book. Now, I know that the book of Isaiah was written from the prophet Isaiah, and a lot of his prophecies have unfolded, and they are still in the midst of unfolding. And I know that it's the largest book in the Bible. And so I remember agreeing to her that I would teach her the Bible, the book of Isaiah. And that was it. And now I woke up in the morning and I had told a friend of mine who is somewhat of a Bible scholar, and I told him my dream, and he found it to be quite fascinating. And he told me, read Acts chapter 8. And I was like, why read Acts chapter 8? The book of Isaiah is before the New Testament. It's the Old Testament, and Acts is the New Testament. And he was like, no, read Acts chapter 8, because your dream is very similar to a part in Acts chapter 8. So I read Acts chapter 8, and it was about a eunuch. For those of you who don't know what a eunuch is a young boy who was castrated when he was very young, and he was handpicked to serve royalty and to be a servant of the royal people. And the reason why they castrate him, in my opinion, was so he will not have children and serve a wife and children before the queen and the king and the royal people, right? So they basically castrate him in order to keep him. So there was a eunuch, and the eunuch was driving a chariot in Acts chapter 8. And the eunuch was not only driving the chariot, but he was reading the book of Isaiah. Okay? And this eunuch was the protector of the African queen's treasures. So all the similarities were the queen, the chariot, the book of Isaiah. And I had those in my dream. Now, to predict this dream, of course it was fascinating to read that, and I was like, wow, how fascinating is that? It's so cool. But now to read that, I thought, what does it mean? All these similarities. Now, the disturbing thought was, I know that when we have funerals, we read parts of the Bible most times, or parts of a spiritual book, usually spiritual literature, at funerals. And the queen was asking me in the dream to read the book of Isaiah to her. Now, I thought to myself, does that mean that the queen is going to pass away soon? And that was the disturbing thought, because no one wants to predict the queen's death, or anyone's death for that matter. However, I did say to myself, does that mean the queen will pass away? Or does it mean that I need to become more well-versed on the book of Isaiah? Or does it mean that I'm going to start prophesying certain situations in life? For me, I'm in the midst of still predicting it. I'm in the midst of still trying to figure out the symbolism behind it. But what I wanted to put out there was, if it does have something to do with the queen, because in the dream she was young, she wasn't old, I just knew she was a queen. And in the dream she was very tired. She just kind of looked at me and she was like just overwhelmed, and she had asked me to teach her the book of Isaiah. And so it could mean that the queen is becoming tired now. So my main point for making this video is, one, to of course, encourage people to write down their dreams and pay attention to their dreams, but also pray for the queen. I think prayer is the most strongest force of healing, but also pray for the queen. You might be like, why pray for the queen? She's one of the most richest, comfortable people in the world, and she is getting old, and so a prediction of her death wouldn't be out of the blue. But all I'm saying is we all need prayer, and if she is tired and stuff of that nature, no matter her comfort, no matter her good life, what we would assume would be her good life, everybody still needs prayer. Okay, so also this could just be encouragement for me to let you all know to read the book of Isaiah. Open it up. It's in the Old Testament. It is a long book, but study it. It is interesting. Some parts of it can be very scary when it gets to the predicting of the future. But a lot of the stuff, like I said, has unfolded, and it is interesting. So when I'm done with my prediction, I will do another video and let you guys know what it is. Until then, Sleep well, pay attention to your dreams, write them down, and try to predict them. They can be more interesting than what you give them credit for. CERISEFAIRFAX.com